Today I actually get to start with some good news. So here we go. I don't know if anybody else has seen this. However, it seems that swine flu is to kill off ISIS. Panic Daesh issues urgent health warning after dozens die. Well, I'd say that's kind of ironic that the one thing that's killing them is swine flu. And I'm sorry that I find that funny, but I do. Do I have an ounce of empathy for any of those who die? No, not a single ounce of empathy do I feel. And I find it really quite disconcerting when you hear politicians go on about how those who come back can be rehabilitated and we've taken their passports to stop them going out and fighting with ISIS. Well, don't stop them. Let them go out there. Let them die from swine flu. I say that they're getting what they want. They're getting their martyrdom. They're becoming heroes in their fight against the West because we're all such bad people. Us in the West, we're awful, dreadful people. Don't you know this? We're racists and fascists and Nazis and bigots and every other word you can possibly imagine. The fact that we're not going out to behead people. We're not going out to slaughter innocent Christians or Jews. The fact that all we're trying to do is get our government to have controlled immigration to allow the genuine asylum seekers, the genuine refugees to come and have a safe place. Well, apparently that's what makes us racist. Now, there was a guy in Germany, I watched a video of it, and he was explaining how jihadists, I think there was something like 50 plus jihadists had got in with these genuine asylum seekers. And he recognised them. Now, I can't show his face, obviously, because they'll kill him. But this is the problem, you see. Angela Merkel has no control, although she does control David Cameron. David Cameron seems to bow and scrape to everything she says. But David Cameron also bows and scrapes to the EU. Because I watched another video last night where David Cameron makes all of these wonderful promises during his election. Because, of course, we all trusted what David Cameron said, didn't we? And then I saw another programme about how much they spent in trying to stop UKIP from succeeding. And it was thousands. And there was this whole group of little people all connected to Downing Street, all connected to David Cameron, and all set up strategically. Now, as everybody knows, I've actually decided to stand with the English Democrats for Police and Crime Commissioner. And a lot of people are still not understanding why I chose the English Democrats. So I'm going to try again to explain this so that you can see this is not about me, my personal opinions. I do not want to weaken the United Kingdom. Quite the opposite. I want to strengthen it. I want to make the United Kingdom a strong United Kingdom. Now, the only way I can explain this to you to make it very simple, very easy to understand. Scotland has its own parliament, makes its own laws, makes its own decisions on it, governs itself to a degree, to a huge degree. And children in Scotland who go on to university don't come out of university with massive debt because they don't have to have grants. They automatically can go and it doesn't cost them anything. If they have school dinners, they get 43p they get £1 per child per head. Now, in England, if you go to university, you come out of university with masses of debt. If you look at what a child is worth, say, for example, school dinners, they get 43p per child per head. When you look at the prescriptions now, they get an allotted amount of money from Parliament given to them for them to decide how they want that money to be spent. So they don't pay prescription charges. We do. Now, if you look at this in the form of a family unit, so you've got mum and dad, and they have 4 children. And of those 4 children, 1 child is treated like they're worth less than the other three. So when it comes to pocket money day, you say to all the other three, there's your pound, off you go. But then it gets to that fourth one, you go, well, you get 43p. And what you're going to do is you're going to compete, you're going to create a situation where the child will compete with the other children. There will become a fracture between the children. They will argue and they fight amongst themselves. So if you've got Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales all actually coming out of everything better than anybody in England, England can't have its own parliament. We don't get these tuition fees covered for university. Our children are being treated like they matter less than a child who's from Scotland or Wales or Northern Ireland. Now, if you don't want to weaken the United Kingdom, the only way you're going to do that is to treat them all equally. Now, I think that, to me, is about equality and fairness. Fairness for everybody. They have not scrapped the Barnett formula. So we are still suffering under the Barnett formula. So we are still treated like second-rate citizens. We are also treated like when you have that cousin that goes to a wedding that nobody really wanted there. They didn't really want it there because they don't really like them very much. But they have to invite them because they're family. So then they're treated like nobody really talks to. Everybody ignores them. That's England. We're treated like the cousin that nobody really wants at the wedding. But they all want to come to us when they've got problems they want resolving. So what I wanted, and the reason I stuck with the English Democrats, is because to say we want an independent England isn't to say we want to weaken the United Kingdom. It's to say we want equality. We want fairness. We want to be treated and seen equally and fairly. This is the only real way to do it. It is the only real... Now, if you do that, what you're going to get is actually the Scottish will go, do you know what? Fair play, the English should. The Scottish people don't want to see us treated like second-rate people. So the Scottish will turn around and say, yeah, absolutely. I'll back them and support them in that. That's absolutely what they should have. So will Wales, so will Northern Ireland. We want to be able to play a national anthem that represents England. We want to be able to fly our St George's Cross without being told we're racist. We want to fill a form in that says, I am English Brit. Just as the Scots are Scottish Brit, the Welsh are Welsh Brit, and the Northern Ireland are Northern Irish Brit. I'm an English Brit. I'm England and I'm part of the United Kingdom. I'm English. Why should I be treated, or anybody else born in England be treated like they don't matter as much? And it has nothing to do with whether... See, you can be culturally English too. You can come to this country. The Muslim lady that I've been giving masses of support to, who I absolutely adore this woman. Her courage is phenomenal. And she embraces everything about the country she lives in. She lives in England. So she's culturally English, and she'll tell you now, she will turn around and say, do not call me Pakistani. I'm not Pakistani, I am English. Fair play to her, I say. Admiration and hats off to her. So that's why. So I hope that has explained enough that you get why. And that it's not about weakening the United Kingdom, it's about strengthening it. It's about equality, fairness for everybody. When it comes to the position of Police and Crime Commissioner, why am I standing? Because political correctness is killing the country. It's killing the United Kingdom as a whole. We've got police officers afraid to make arrests for fear of offending. They're being told that if there's a Muslim house and you have to go there, that if the woman has to put the head cover on, you must wait. No, sorry. I'm sorry. If I believe that you are involved in a criminal activity, no religion should be given any preferential treatment, be it Judaism, be it Christianity, be it Islam. No so-called religion or religion should be given preferential treatment. If you are suspected of a crime, we must put protection of the security of the people of this country above and beyond anybody who gets offended. So I would want to say, to hell with political correctness. Give our police force the ability and the freedom to do their job fairly and justly for everybody, even the left. Because we've got this left-right sort of divide, and the only people who actually make this left-right divide are actually the left. Right? Because I don't see myself as being on the right. I see myself as middle. Centre middle. That's where I am. I don't have far-right extreme views. Never have had, never will have. But I certainly don't have a leftist mentality. I have the ability to see through the bullshit. But they actually caused this divide where they wanted to put me in a position and they wanted to tag me as being far right. I'd say they're more far out and they need to chill out, take a chill pill, perhaps even stop smoking some of that funny tobacco that they smoke and actually start opening their brains up a little bit before they engage their mouths. I've got people crawling all over my Twitter account. Ask her about when she went to the English Defence League demonstration. I never went to an English Defence League demonstration. Never. I saw an English Defence League demonstration. You are absolutely right, I did. I'll explain this again, and I'll explain so everybody knows. I went on a date. I know, shocker. Who'd have thought it? But I went on a date. And that date took place in London. And it took place at a time when a demonstration by the English Defence League was being held. So I stood by the gates of Downing Street, actually on the same side of the road as Unite Against Fascism. But I wasn't with them either. They don't want to accuse me of that. Right? But I stood and I watched. I watched as Unite Against Fascism launched missiles. Bottles and anything else they had in their hands was launched over the heads of Sikhs that were stood there in silent protest and had been there for quite some time. Obviously, without thinking, the English Defence League picked the missiles up, thrown back. Every camera from the media was trained onto the English Defence League. Now, that is not me defending the English Defence League or anything else. It's a statement of fact. And I watched it happen. Now, they've also accused me of being Liberty Great Britain. I did support Liberty Great Britain. I did. I thought they could really go somewhere. I did. Thought they could really go somewhere. But it seemed to sort of start and then fizzle off. And I thought, well, certain people have made comments that I do not agree with at all. And I never will. So the minute those statements were made, I went, do you know what? But I was never a member. I never signed up as a member of Liberty Great Britain. Feel free to check that out, Mr. Sam Tipping Sam. Check that out. Because you like to troll me. Because you're so worried about me standing for election. Now, I have to ask myself, why are you so worried? Is it because you think people will actually understand that I am fair and I will treat everybody equally and there's a possibility they may vote for me? Does it worry you that much? Well, you keep putting out your lies and I'll keep squashing them. Did I and have I made comments in the past, going back 3 years ago, to Tommy Robinson? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I admired the fact that he had the balls to stand up and speak out and open people's eyes up and get people talking about a subject that God forbid you should talk about because you'll be deemed as a racist Islamophobe. He got people talking about it. Do I respect that? You're damn right I do. Absolutely I do. But ask him if I've ever met him. And he'll tell you no. Because that's the truth. Never met him. I've never sat and spoke to him. But I did respect what he did. Now, does that mean that there's been things he said and done that I don't agree with? You're damn right I have. There's been many things he said and done that I do not agree with. So that hopefully has cleared up that little mess that you just can't let go, Sam, Tipping Sam. Okay? So you feel free. You go and ask anybody who is English Defence League or has been English Defence League and ask them if I've ever attended a demonstration. The answer will be no. So now you can carry on with your little games and your trolling of me, because every time you come on my account, you won't get an answer, you'll get a block. Why? Because I can. because I can. So troll away and enjoy. Now, on to the next subject, and I'm sorry this is quite a long video. Sorry about that, but you know me. I did a radio podcast last night with Annie Cyrus, who is part of the Glazoff team. And she's an amazing woman. Now, there was her and a lady called Shabnam, Shabs for short, who both had escaped the Islamic Republic of Iran. Both had suffered being imprisoned as children. Annie herself was lashed when she was just a child. These women are brave women, and they escaped a dictatorship, being controlled and dominated at every given opportunity from the cradle to the grave. Now, they're sitting, one lives in Canada, one lives in America. And here they are, frightened because it's now in Canada. It's now in America. It's there. It is happening. They now face the possibility of facing what they escaped from and the oppression that they suffered. So take a look at Live Up to Freedom. I have put it out on Twitter. I've also put it out on my Facebook. Do please click onto it and listen to these ladies. Just take the time to hear some of what they've gone through. Annie also does a YouTube called The Unknown. Go and check out Annie's story, and maybe you'll understand where she's coming from and why they stand up to freedom. They want their freedom, they want their liberty, and they want their right to freedom of speech and their right to live it in a safe, secure country. Obama's not delivering that, and we all know why. Cameron's not delivering it to his country. Merkel isn't delivering it to her country. And now Trudeau, or whatever his name is, in Canada's not delivering it for his people. Why do the people of our country matter so much less than those coming in from third world countries? And I will reiterate, and I will keep saying this. You are inviting in Cameron, Merkel, Trudeau, whatever your name is, Obama. You are bringing in a rape culture, a rape mentality. I looked again today. I'm having this is the headline, Mail Online. I'm having the time of my life. Sick boast of Asian paedophile gang boss after he fled Britain, as it's revealed rape victim 13 was reported missing to the police 71 times, but they failed to act. 71 times. Bear that number in mind. Her parents and people reported her missing 71 times, and the police failed to act. That's why I'm standing for Police and Crime Commissioner, because damn your political correctness. A child's safety above and beyond everything else. I don't care if they are black, brown or white. You don't ignore 71 reports of a child missing. You bloody well act on it. Ignoring it is not, it's not right. It's not fair to the child. It's not fair to the parents. And how dare you ignore the plight of a child who was suffering. Political correctness has to go. And with political correctness comes freedom of speech. And with freedom of speech comes an element of responsibility. Getting your freedom of speech does not give you the right to abuse for the sake of abusing. It gives you the right to speak the truth without fear of reprisal. And I will stand for freedom of speech every opportunity. At every opportunity. So the last thing I'm going to address is this. Now, I'm sorry. This might offend one or two of the men on my page, and I apologise if it does. But I won't apologise for stating facts. I've watched over the last few weeks, and it's men continuously. I'm seeing men state, and I'm sorry to say, but this is only from what I'm seeing. The funny thing is, I'm followed and supported by more men than women. Bizarrely enough, I find that very bizarre. However, it's men that I see saying, we're screwed, it's done, it's finished, this country's ruined, that's it, we'll never win, they've won. With this defeatist mentality. But it's women I see that are actually addressing the issues. It's women I see standing up to try and tackle the fight. People like Baroness Cox, who I have to say, by Christ, I love that woman. The energy of that woman is just, I've never known anything like it. I've really never known. She's just an amazing person. And there are peers, trust me when I tell you, there are peers standing up for our rights. There are peers pushing this. They are addressing these issues. Get behind them. I asked you all, write to your local MP and write to Michael Gove. Google his email address on Google and write to Michael Gove and write to your local MP and tell them that you support Baroness Cox's bill to address the issue of Sharia law and that you want this read in the House of Commons. Push for it. Men, stop complaining. Stop giving in, because as they say, it ain't over till the fat lady sings, and my voice ain't that good, but I'm sure they're not singing just yet. Stop whining like girls. To every feminazi, I'm taking the word back. You're not having it, and your representation of what feminism is absolute bullshit. Every man step up and stand up for the rights of women and show these feminazis what feminism is really about. And it has nothing to do with your genitalia. It has everything to do with whether you will stand up for the rights of all women. To not be female genitally mutilated, to not be raped, to not be domestically abused, to not be oppressed by a law that has no right operating in this country, whether it be behind closed doors or in their own personal courts. Stand up and defend. Back the women of these countries. Get behind them. Push them forward. Push Baroness Cox forward. Get off your backsides. Don't keep complaining. Get the letter written. Let's do the job that needs doing. Let's do it in the right way. Make a difference. You can make a difference if you bother to get off your backside and do what needs to be done. Now, I sit here and I get people say to me, I'm sure they must think that I sit here every day twiddling my thumbs. Trust me now, there is not a day that I do not get off my arse and do something. And I have so much more going on than you could ever imagine. But trust me now when I tell you, what I do for the right reasons. And I talk to the right people. And I make sure that every person in the general public, that their voices are heard in the right places. That's what I do. That's one of the things that I do. Among many other things. And trust me now, some of the messages that I get from women and men or families whose children have suffered because of this, it's a heavy thing to carry with you. But I'll do it because it's the right thing to do. On top of standing for Police and Crime Commissioner and trying to raise the funds to stand for election, and people moaning about, well, why do all the far right have a donate button? Mate, it's called a donate button. You have an option. You have a choice. Nobody's forcing you to donate. If you don't agree and you don't want to donate, don't donate. I am not going to cry over it. But don't criticise people because they have to have a donate button. Because let me tell you now, the left might be funded by your Labourites, but the right, as they are called, are funded by nobody. But it's not compulsory to donate. It's an option. And if you want to help with my crowdfunding, you want to help me get the money to stand for election, then do it. If you don't want to, I'm not going to hate you for it. I'm not going to judge you for it. It's a choice. That's what this country's about. Freedom of choice, freedom of religion. But no political correctness should be allowed to stifle the job that needs to be done. And no more should we be held by our government in such contempt and threats of, if we exit the EU, well, then we'll have the jungle in Calais. No, if we don't exit, you will bring the jungle to this country, Cameron. You really think anybody trusts you with your lies, your promises, and your bullshit? You are a liar. You have reneged on every single thing you promised to deliver. You are a joke. The left don't trust you. The right sure as hell don't want you. That's the truth of it. So, as I've got actually a bit of a headache, which is really irritating, but I'll always bounce back. Even on days when I'm really down, I will bounce back and I will keep going. And I will do it for you. I will do it for me. I will do it for my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. But if you want to sit down and offer your future generations like a sacrificial lamb, that's your legacy. But it sure as hell won't be mine. Everybody take care. Speak again really soon. Bye.